All right, everybody. Welcome to This Pink Cloud. Hopefully everything is working. Yeah, there you go. Chad's going to have a breakdown. Chad's going to have a meltdown. Hey, but welcome to This Pink Cloud. We are a show that is all about multiple pathways to recovery, mental health, all that good stuff. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. Now you're supposed to hit the fart noise. You hit it early, dude. Because Chad's off his game, dude. Chad is off his game because he is angry. Dude, serenity now, brother. Serenity now.
Breathe in, God. Breathe out, God.
Right. But anyway, so yeah, if you like to watch complete shit shows, be sure and hit subscribe on us.
And definitely hit subscribe if you want to hear a show that actually has audio.
Yeah, there you go.
That will be this one.
That's right, man. Hey, sitting next to me is the frustrated but willing to 10th step it later. Nope. Ladies and everybody. Ladies and everybody, dude. Ladies and everybody else. Ladies and non-binaries. Mr. Chad Lamont.
Oh, dude. Somebody's going to get us canceled, dude.
How are you?
Good, dude.
Yeah? All right, dude. Cool. All right, so yeah.
I'm great.
We just found out that the first episode that we recorded in the new studio doesn't have the audio, so that's always fun.
I'm glad I got to be around for,
right,
for the testing of the new stuff.
You're glad you got to be a part of the process.
It's a whole debacle.
Right. Yeah. That voice that you hear, I'm excited to have this guy on. We just found out that he was actually on Recovery's Got Talent.
Kelly just found that out. I knew that.
Well, there we go.
And Kelly was a judge on that
show. And I judged you.
You did.
I judged
very
you.
kindly.
I thought you did a great job, man.
Thank you.
I thought your material was good and it was fresh and it was actually humorous, dude. Which
I'm a hard laugh, dude.
No, I am, dude. I am
That was the first thing out of his mouth.
100% a hard laugh,
dude. I texted him from the audience when he was saying it. I was making fun of him every time he was judging anybody.
And like Chad thinks I was like looking at my phone while he's texting me.
No, dude, it would have been great
No, with your side.
But
this is what we think
anyway,
from the crowd.
so this guy's name is Lyndol Keith Woodruff.
Tis I.
And you are a window advocate slash comedian.
I do advocate for good windows.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but you have a window hustle that you do that is a family business, which it says on your hat.
Yeah.
I like the brand.
Us.
I like the branding.
Thank you.
And then you're a comedian on top of it. So I mean, you're a full package. Dude.
And you got a hell of a story, man.
And you got a hell of a story.
It's been fun.
Right. So
been a lot of fun.
Let's hear about the prior shit show.
Oh my gosh, man. Well, there's been so many different categories throughout my life. Mm-hmm. I just remember when I was a really, really little kid, I would always dress up as the Lone Ranger, or I was Marty McFly from Back to the Future.
which is kind of a weird choice, dude.
I would literally, the opening scene of Back to the Future when he's passed out in the bed, I had a similar outfit, and I would lay myself down in bed at night to emulate his perfect position in the bed. And then I wanted to be Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block.
Hold on.
I had the perm.
I thought you were talking about Joey from Blossom.
No. What did I say? Joey McIntyre, right? Yeah, that's right. From New Kids on the Block.
He's an NKOTB.
NKOTB.
Right.
Still kicking it live.
Right.
Hollering at the honeys.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be something
some
else,
kind of entertainer,
some type
like.
of something.
Yeah.
I got lots of old pictures of me as the Lone Ranger in the front yard, with
right?
the mask and the cowboy hat at like 3 years old, So there's always I was a very just shoot from the hip, go 1,000 miles an hour. When I was 3, in church Sunday morning, I went up on stage in the middle of the sermon and took the mic from the pastor and sang an entire hymnal to the church.
That's hilarious.
And then bowed 3 different ways. And
they just let you do it?
They just
That's
let
hilarious.
me do it. My mom was like, all right, well, obviously he's going to... There was no leash,
Obviously he's been touched by the Lord.
Touched by the Lord. He is definitely... Oh, my gosh. Yeah, and if it wasn't for the prayer of my mother, I probably would have died 1,000 times.
Right.
Years and years. Ain't nothing more powerful than a praying mama.
Right, yeah,
especially
for sure.
one from West Texas that cares carries a gun too.
Now do what?
Do what? She's praying, and she's got a black snub-nosed 38 in her
Right.
purse with a pink grip. Like, look out.
I love it.
Mama don't play. Mama don't play. There's
Right.
6 holes in the side of the house. My mom fired a .357 Magnum at a raccoon
Oh, shit.
on the porch and missed it every single time.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So
Right.
you know, I don't know, man. I've always been just an adventurous, fun, want to experience everything. I was a big reader at an early age. Always had a bookshelf with, you know, the children's book of questions and answers, the how does the universe work? You know, I was just always real curious about stuff and wanted to experience different things. And that's real dangerous whenever you get introduced to alcohol at an early age.
Oh yeah. What age was that?
14.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and how was that? I mean, was that an older sibling or
No, it was my best friend's older sibling. So
okay.
So just to, you know, when I was young, I was the first born into a new family. My dad had already had 3 kids whenever he married my mom.
Oh, okay.
And they were older. One's the twins are 8 years older than I am, and the other is 11 years older. So I was the first one born into the new family, older siblings. I was born in 81, and you know, by the time I'm 3 and 4, Yo MTV Raps was the big deal. I was getting babysat by the older brothers, and that's really what I was raised on.
Oh yeah, dude. When you got those older brothers out there, for sure.
It was Baptist church on Sunday and Yo MTV Raps every other day. And MTV did a great job at making that look a lot more fun.
Oh sure, yeah, 100.
Yeah. So you know, I was all off kilter growing up. Like, just kind of bought into this idea of partying is everything, and you know, everyone kind of experiments in high school. But man, the moment I took that first drink when I was 14, my parents divorced when I was 9.
Okay.
And then mom moved me to West Texas, where she grew up out in Big Spring.
Big Spring, shout out Big Springs.
Yeah, shout out to the Steers.
Right.
It's a very interesting town.
The well out there.
Yeah, which was on our 10 acres.
Right.
Yeah, there was a stone well.
And a septic tank.
And a septic tank,
right.
Yep. Still has to get fixed by stepdad's bare hands.
Nice.
But so growing up there, you know, from 9 to 15, it was a weird thing, and I knew really quickly that I didn't want to be in a small town. I wanted to come back to Dallas and live with Dad. But
you were more of a cosmopolitan lad.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Pinky
absolutely.
out.
Right.
The
high
twist
tea
just
and
right.
Yeah.
This country life is not the life for me.
You know, I mean, I just wanted to fit in, really, and there, you know, just not anything to do in a small town.
Sure.
So my best friend at the time, his brother, you know, was big into partying, and that's how I got introduced to Boone's Farm.
Oh, Boone's Farm. I love it.
Strawberry Hill.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah. So when I took that first drink, it was just like a warm blanket. You know? I felt like I don't know. I felt like any type of uncomfort was gone, and I was invincible.
Right.
And it was off to the races. I was a full-blown alcoholic from the first time. I think I was probably born that way. It didn't really trigger until I took a drink.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
But man, it was I was a blackout drunk from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. That's what, we were talking prior to, but yeah, so it didn't seem like you were a everyday type dude. You were, but it was like, I go for it and I go hard.
I was in the middle. Before I moved to California, like when I was bartending on Greenville Avenue and waiting tables in different parts of Dallas, I was a hardcore daily drinker.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But
okay.
that was really from the ages of like 17 to
What bars were you?
22.
What bars and restaurants were you working at on Greenville?
I bartended at Snuffers for a little
Snuffers,
while. Worked at J. Pepe's when J. Pepe's was
there
the
you
spot.
go.
This is back in the Red Jacket days.
Well, dude, I used to DJ at the
Did
Red
ya?
Jacket, dude, and on Sunday nights.
Sunday nights, the freaking retro night.
Well,
that was my favorite time.
They had the retro room, but I was in the Ruby room.
Really?
Yeah. So I was playing the cool guy stuff.
I got pulled over going 130 miles an hour down 635.
Yeah.
In a huge afro wig with a money sign medallion and a security T-shirt coming back from retro night.
I like it
at Red Jacket. Yeah, a lot
That's
of good,
hilarious.
a lot of crazy times in the late, you know, Club Clearview and and Lemon and the Red Room and all that stuff. That back in the late 90s was
right.
That was.
I played at
of
Clearview when it was one big room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a real clear view, dude.
It was the place. Dude.
Yeah, no, Clearview was dope.
Cooler.
Yeah,
there was nothing cooler in Deep Ellum in the late '90s than
and I mean,
Clearview.
but then it was weird, like because on the off nights, all of a sudden, oh, here's Ministry playing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like okay, cool.
What?
And then you're like, here's Noel playing.
Yeah.
Like the next night, and you're like, what?
Yeah, it was
was random, dude.
And there was a bar. 2826.
Oh yeah, 2826 Wednesdays, dude.
2826.
50 cent, dude. 50 cent wells or 50 cent.
I was a bar back there for 3 shifts. Got annihilated.
Oh my god,
hammered,
dude!
and
Yeah,
got fired.
That was the late '80s for me, and the sex on the beach, dude, for $1. I'm like, oh, I'll take 3 of those.
That's what you get, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
2826 was
cool.
it
was good.
But yeah, I mean, there were so many different neat things going on back then. I've always been distracted by, oh, this looks cool or this looks cool. Never just pick something and stay with it. Like I wanted to experience everything, and do 1,000 different things. And I think because of that being my nature, really it was a drink or a pill or something that I needed to calm down,
right?
To go to sleep or stop the brain from going a
dude.
million miles an hour,
or just to get that comfort zone.
Yeah,
right.
And just to be back in the moment,
right?
You know, and I think a lot of really high level performing entrepreneurs have that same kind of thing. You know, constant ideas, hard to sleep at night.
Yeah.
You know, I coined the phrase entrepreneuromniac.
I like that.
I had like 7 different business ideas at one point. It's like, I'm just an entrepreneuromniac. I can't sleep at night.
Either that or I'm just cooked out of my gourd on blue.
But I can't I can't execute on any of them, but I've got the ideas.
Oh, dude, wait, what was it Shawnee Cameron said? Dude, let's stay up all night and start a business.
Yeah, exactly, and write poems about it. Like my dad would pick me up. I worked at Papacito's in Richardson. I got fired from there 4 different times.
Nice, dude.
4.
Were they that hard up for employees?
No, I just, for some reason, I mean, dude, I had corporate recognition from them. Guests would ask for comment cards and write paragraphs about me. Oh, yeah. Just that my service was so over the top. Like, literally, people would go, I need a comment card. I have to write how amazing this experience has been, and the way you treat my family, and yada, yada, yada. So they would fire me for smelling like scotch or clearly being up for 2.5 days. Or whatever. Sure. But then they would bring me back, and they would make me be a dishwasher for 2 weeks to earn my spot back on the floor. Gotcha. But it was a weird time because social media wasn't out. Nobody was texting. We didn't have cell phones.
Right.
You know, it was just an interesting time. But where were we even going with that?
Well, I mean, we were talking about how your partying started. So, you know, and then you were in the service industry.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I guess there's like, you know, you eventually moved to L.A. with your baggage, so to speak, your air quote baggage. Yep. So, but how does it progress?
Funny story how I got there. So I kept getting fired from job to job to job. Papacitos, Pluckers, J. Pepe's, Snuffers. Like, you really, if you get fired from a restaurant for alcohol, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole lifestyle.
Right.
So I'd been out of a job for about 5 months. I had a roommate who worked at Buffalo Wild Wings. He was a cook. And I hadn't paid my rent in like 5 months. Oh. My mom was paying my half for me.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
And I was scrounging change, it got so bad, I would scrounge change and go to the Coke dealer's house to buy a half a line.
Yeah.
That's all I could afford. How much is a half? Give me a bump. How much is the bump? Oh, dude, are you kidding me? I'd knock on his door at like 3 a.m. That's horrible. That's terrible.
I've got $3.43. Will that get me a bump?
How much can that get me? And he's like, dude, you've got to go home. This is ridiculous.
Right.
And my dad bought me The Purpose-Driven Life by Pastor Rick Warren.
Okay.
And he bought me this book, and he wrote on the front page, I'm praying for you. P.S. I will know if you started to read this book. And I was like, all right. So, I'd call him every once in a while. Man, great book. I've been reading it. What chapter you on? Chapter 5. And he's like, all right, cool. Let me know how the rest of it goes. And then one day I just got so desperate. I broke down. I was miserable, super miserable. And I started reading that book. And I got to chapter 2, and on the first page there was $100 bill taped.
Oh, you're like,
dang it! I've been scrounging change for key bumps.
Right?
I could have bought a bag.
Right.
And that's where my mind went.
Right.
I'm reading Purpose Driven Life. I could have bought a bag with this.
Right.
I called Dad. I'm like, okay, I finally started reading the book. But I came across this is how I got to LA. I was looking through the Observer, the Dallas Observer, and the Classifieds. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings at the bar having a scotch.
Okay.
And I was looking for a new job. I was looking in the Classifieds. And I took a shot, and I slammed it down on the paper, and there was a big ad with a lady standing there with her hands on her hips looking all stylish, and it said, actors tired of waiting tables.
Right.
And I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. And I'd been on stage since I was 3. I had a passion for that. That's really what I wanted to do was act or something.
Right. Did you ever have any endeavors of trying to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. My first IMDb credit in L.A., I played a homeless drunk. And I was actually homeless and hungover.
Drunk.
And drunk. So there was a running joke with my circle. I mean, you can look it up on IMDb right now. Keith Woodruff, homeless drunk.
Oh, that's funny.
In the movie Jealous.
I will
I've
check
got like 3 different IMDb pages, whatever.
Nice.
But so I ended up getting this job, and it was a product demonstration job. They manufactured different products for your house, like the magic cloth, which is AKA the ShamWow.
Sure.
Everybody knows it as the ShamWow.
Yeah.
That cloth's been around for years. So that's what we did. They hired aspiring actors to learn a script for these products, and we traveled around, and we went to Kmart's and Sears and different retail stores and did live infomercials.
Kind of like what you do with Windows now.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for all of that kind of started a crazy journey of living in all different states, waking up in different jails.
So did ShamWow fly you around to different spots, or how did it go?
ShamWow was not a thing whenever I was doing
Sure.
it. So the original, there's just a factory in Germany that makes a lot of these cloths, and people white label it and they call it their own thing.
Yeah, sure.
So before ShamWow came out, it was Magic Cloth.
Magic Cloth.
So ShamWow just really did it right on TV.
Sure.
And blew it out of the water for branding and marketing, and now it's just known as the ShamWow. But it's the same exact product.
ShamWow.
Sure.
Chop slap. Slap chop.
Slap chop, all that stuff. Ours was the lightning chopper.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
It's all the same.
That stuff's been around for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So the guy that started that company, I mean, his father owned a carnival,
and
they were like a pitch family. Like it was third generation.
Like Ronco?
They were all part of the same clique. The
did
old
he
school
have
Billy Mays people.
Pocket fisherman, everything?
No, they didn't have that. No, they didn't have that. But they were all there. That world's pretty small.
I'm sure, dude.
Yeah,
it's
so
like the carnies.
It
dude.
all started with Carney, and then it moved into the state fairs, and then it went to direct response. The whole Ron Popeil food dehydrator, knives, long form infomercials, and then that turned into short form. Then the gentleman who owned the company took it to retail stores with a totally different energy. It was the delivery was much more. It wasn't a fair environment. It wasn't like, hey, come step on right up and a one and a two, and the lady wants it in the rear. Come on up, Like none of that stuff. It was a very professional script.
Yeah.
The products had been on QVC, and once you go on QVC, you've made
You're
it.
legit.
Yeah,
right.
You've got the baby boomers.
Yeah.
By the Goldilocks.
Dude, you are the new Joan Rivers.
100%.
Right?
Yes. So that job got me to LA. Eventually. It took a little while of traveling, but that's what took me to LA.
Okay.
Originally.
Right.
And there was a lot of oh my gosh, dude, just so many stories of waking up naked in bushes, and hey, like, how did I get here? Or waking up in jail for, oh my god, how did I get here?
I mean, you had stuff. So you go there as a pitch man, kind of, sort of, slash actor, but then don't you also wind up in music business, and you're all of a sudden like managing talent?
No, I was the EVP of the Recording Artists Guild.
Okay, so EVP, what does that stand
Executive Vice President.
Okay.
Yeah, I started off as Director of Business Development.
Okay.
So let's back up just a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
In 2004 is when I first ended up in LA. And the guy who owned the product demonstration company was tired of watching me write jokes. I had been studying stand-up comedy for probably 3 years at this point in time. And that's what I really wanted to do, was stand-up comedy. I used to sneak out of the room when I was 4 and watch, Andrew Dice Clay on HBO, and that's really what I wanted to do.
Right.
And people were telling me all the time, you could actually do this. You should do it. Pursue it. Like, the way you just deliver things is you're natural.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. That's what I'll do. So when I ended up in L.A., I was writing a lot of material. I was trying to figure out, how I was going to start. Well, the owner signed me up for open mic in San Diego with at a coffee shop called Hot Monkey Love.
Okay.
By San Diego State University. And he took me to coffee, and I didn't know he signed me up for open mic. So I'm sitting in this crowd, and they call my name. And I was like, oh, God, you got to be kidding me. So the first 5 minutes I ever did, my opening joke got a really good laugh, and I was hooked, man.
Right.
So I was like, I can't wait to get up to L.A. for working so I can find a home club, and I was just, like, hell-bent on that. But I could not stay sober at all. Like, I kept falling off the wagon, falling on my face, drunk all the time. So the owner of the company ended up firing me. I've lived in L.A. 3 different times.
Okay.
So the last straw with that company, the last time I got fired from them, it was real bad, man. This was 2006. I ended up going to Colorado to live with my brother, try to get sober. He'd been sober 12 years at the time.
Okay.
And, I mean, it was bad. Like, they kicked me out of the house. I went and bought a bunch of beer at 7-Eleven. And all I had was my wallet. They wouldn't give me my flip phone.
Right, your Motorola Razr.
You're going to sleep in the backyard, and they kicked me out. And so I was pissed because I was already drunk. I went and got more. I'm walking down the sidewalk with a 12-pack of Bud Ice in North Hollywood. And this dude rolls up beside me in a 280ZX with T-tops. I'll never forget it. And he's like, hey, man, I got some meth. You got some beer. You want to party? And he ended up raping me in the woods.
Whoa.
It was bad. Like, it was all bad.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's very vivid, but I had this 12-pack of Bud Ice bottles in my hand, and I managed to roll over and just smack them upside the head with this 12-pack of bottles and get away from them. And there was a huge thing in the woods that was like a hole, but it was all filled with leaves.
Okay.
So I fell into this hole.
Okay.
And blacked out in this hole covered with leaves.
Right.
So I come to the next morning, sunlight kind of beaming through the leaves, you know. And so I come staggering out of these woods. I have no idea where I'm at.
Right.
And I end up on a soccer practice field on a Saturday morning where a bunch of 8-year-olds are practicing.
Oh, wow.
And the parents are like pointing at me, and I'm covered in sticks and grass and all dirty and gross. And they're like, oh my God, get away from my kids. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I was raped in the woods. And they're like, oh my God, we got to help you now.
All right.
And I'm like, look, I got a debit card. I got money. Like, I'm not, this is what happened. So that kind of really got me away from LA for a while to try to figure things out.
Dude,
that's a safe bet, dude.
Yeah, so my mom, like the owner of the company, went outside in the middle of the night to check on me and let me back in, but I was nowhere to be found.
Okay.
Well, they didn't let me have my phone, so there was no way they could call me.
Yeah.
So the owner called my parents in the middle of the night in Texas and said, hey, your son's missing.
Yeah.
So my mom, in the middle of the night, met up with my sister somehow. They bought an airplane ticket, flying out to L.A.
Right.
And I know Sheila would do this exact same. This is something that your mom would do. 100%. Like, what? My son's missing? I'll be there in a minute. Like, she's in Texas. I'm going to come to LA and find my son.
Right.
You know, like, good Lord. And that's what they did. And so I ended up in Colorado, and it's just so many different things, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's been...
Well, so far what I've learned is to stay away from dudes and 280ZXs.
100%. And Bud Ice.
And the way that it happened, though. Remember I told you that story when I was homeless? The guy,
hey, you want to party?
This guy just, I was like walking back from an intersection. He was like, hi, you party? This old dude, and it was like a neon green Kia Soul. I was like, what do you mean? And he then I kind of figured it out because somebody was with me. He's like, dude, he's trying to fuck you. I was like, all right, let's go, dude.
You like butt stuff?
Yeah, but I'll never forget it. Like some 7-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Hey man, you party?
Tickle me, Elmo. Dude. You know what that's about?
But yeah, 280ZXs and lime green Kia Souls, dude.
Dudes that want to play tummy sticks.
Oh gosh, terrible.
He doesn't even know what that quote is from. It's from Wedding Crashers.
Oh, I love that.
Tummy sticks.
Tummy sticks. Yeah.
But
dude.
so anyway, so then you're in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ended up back in Colorado. This was 2000. Summer 2006. Yeah, summer 2006. I ended up going back to LA February 2007. And just a friend of mine in LA called me and he's like, "Hey dude, I've been working on this movie for a while. Finally got the budget for it. I got a small part in it for you. You got to come back." And I'm like, "Well, dude, I don't even have a driver's license. I've got $300 to my name. I'm waiting tables at Joe's Crab Shack. What are you talking about?"
Right.
And he's like, "Well, that's how the greats make it, man. Just come.
Yeah.
All you need is an occasional burger."
Right. Yeah.
Like, that sounds logical.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm in.
So this, and people say, yeah, right, whatever. This truly is what happened. I was sleeping on my brother's couch.
Okay.
3 a.m. I woke up in the middle of the night. The heater kicked on, and I heard an audible voice through the vent say, "Go to Hollywood."
Okay.
Man, come on, dude. And I've been sober for 103 days.
Okay.
103 days at this point.
All right.
No nothing.
Right.
I woke up and, gave myself a good smack, made sure I was awake, and I heard it again.
Right.
And as God is my witness,
Right.
I heard it as clear as day.
Right. And then come to find out it was your brother wanting you to get out of the house.
No.
He was in the bathroom going, "Go to Hollywood."
Yeah, it's like,
And he was like,
he had done time in jail, so he knew how to communicate through the
through the
toilet.
vent.
but he was like,
Yeah, the vent. "Hey, what are you guys doing over there? Shut up! I'm eating Mike and Ike's. What the
he was like,
the heck?
"Get the fuck out of my
Get out now!"
Right.
No, so I jump off the couch, I run to his bedroom, and I
Right.
just start throwing stuff in a suitcase.
Okay.
When you said bags,
Yeah.
that's literal.
Okay.
One suitcase and a backpack.
Oh, okay.
Stuff full of stuff.
Right.
I woke up my brother. I'm standing at the foot of his bed, and I wake him up, and I was like, "Dude, you gotta take me to the Greyhound station right now."
Right.
It's the middle of the night, and he
Right.
goes, he rubbed his eyes, and he looked at me, and he goes, "That's the right thing to do." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "I'm not even lying. I just woke up from a dream with
Right.
you wearing that same outfit walking down Sunset Boulevard."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Dude, you got to be." He said, "No, I'm serious. Let's go." So in the
Right.
middle of the night, and he takes me to the Greyhound station. So I take a Greyhound to
Go
LA.
Hollywood. And come to find,
I'm there.
No, but come to find out, there was a gas leak in the house, and we were
So I
all
was not sober.
hallucinating. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fumes coming from
Right,
somewhere. I mean,
right.
it was a trailer park in Colorado Springs, so
Right.
probably so.
All right.
It was probably fake sleeping in the
I
first
used to
place.
know a guy that raised hedgehogs in Colorado
Oh my
Springs.
gosh, there's some
dude.
interesting
Yeah.
characters in
Yeah,
Colorado
oh, yeah,
Springs
for sure.
No, so that I literally took a Greyhound back to LA in the middle of the night. It was a 24-hour Greyhound trip from Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
So I get off the Greyhound station downtown LA. Downtown LA, and I took a makeshift cab. It was just some random dude named Hector,
Right.
I think, with a Toyota
Sure.
Corolla or something. And I told him I need to get to the Ha Ha Comedy Club.
Was he running spoon engines?
He was-
Fast and Furious.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's
So then y'all went to the so
the Ha Ha Comedy
you get
Club.
it in what they call it. Sometimes people call them a gypsy cab, and they take them to. Do you just take you and drop you off at Ha Ha?
So the Ha Ha is where I was performing prior.
Mm-hmm.
I made friends with the owner. His name's Jack. He's still the owner to
Right.
this day. Super great dude.
Right.
And so I
You
done
to go.
some-
My heating vent told me to
told me to come.
here.
Well, I walked in with my luggage, and he's like, "What are you doing back? I thought you were coming back like in 9 months. You were saving money." And I was
Right,
like,
right.
"Well, I don't know. The heater told me to." Whatever. He's like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Where are you gonna stay?" I just wheeled in my luggage to the comedy club, and I was like, "I'm back."
Right.
And he's like, "Where are you gonna stay?" He's like, I don't know. I'm just
Right.
here." And
Right.
he said, "Well, you can stay in the bus behind the club."
Oh,
There was a
no.
little short bus.
Okay.
There's a picture.
All right.
There's a
Fitting.
picture of it on my
Fitting.
Facebook page.
Okay, we'll have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to check
It,
that
it was
out.
it was full of all the old tables and chairs that used to be in the comedy
Ah,
club. And the
okay.
driver's seat was vacant.
Ah.
There's a hole in the floorboard, and that's where I slept. I slept in the driver's seat of that bus for a
That's
little
so
while.
funny.
Yeah.
Hey, well, okay, so let's pause there real quick.
Cool.
Let's throw to a commercial. We've got our lovely sponsor, Max the Axe, who happens to be a personal injury attorney. If you go to thispinklawyer.com, that will take you to his website, which is Lone Star Injury Attorneys, and he is a personal injury attorney. Yeah, exactly. I was waiting for Chad to do the echo. But he is practicing in Texas and California.
Maybe.
Kind of like you.
Nice.
Right. But so
But,
he will get you the maximum Results.
And his name rhymes. Say it.
Maxwell the Axwell.
That's good. That's a good voice. That's
Anyway.
that's a good name.
And then we've got some new tracks coming out. So
No, we don't.
Chadwick, or
I've never even made music. I don't even know this guy.
Yeah, I don't know you either. You're not my dad.
Wait, dude. You can't say that to me.
You're not my dad.
Because you're not my dad.
my dad.
You're not my dad.
You're not my.
Gonna take my time. I have all the time in the world to make you mine. It is written in the stars above. God's decree. You'll be right here by my side, right next to me. You can run, but you cannot.
Big booty. Bounce it. Get down. Get down.
The first
All
chick I
right,
took away-
and we are back.
And by the way, if you like those songs, I wrote them. If you didn't like them, Kelly definitely wrote them.
Yeah, it's all Kelly's fault. It's all Kelly's fault. But anyway, yeah, those are available on Beatport, Spotify, everywhere, streaming all major platforms, blah, blah, blah. But okay, so I'm excited to get back to the conclusion of the story. You're in a bus. In
A short bus.
a
Short
short
bus.
bus
Yep.
in LA
Yep.
with chairs and tables that are extra from a club called Ha Ha.
The Ha Ha Comedy
Okay,
Club.
let's hear it.
So yeah, I'm doing the little bird bath in the in the sink.
Right.
You know,
the sink shower.
Jack would
Yeah.
open the doors a little bit early for me so I could, come around and freshen up before
Right.
open mic started.
Sure.
And that's really what the Ha Ha's super known for in LA is Jack's done a great job
Taking
at
in homeless
exactly.
comedians.
100%. Let them
Taking
sleep
in-
on the stage
all
some
right.
night.
Taking in heater
He let
dreamers.
some comedians sleep in the club. He wouldn't let me because he knew I was an alcoholic.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
He was like, you got to stay in the bus because
yeah, the
what
bar.
If you, what
right.
if you freaking drain the bar?
Yeah,
bro.
right,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
that to happen.
That's hilarious.
But he was really known for like creating a great environment for all up and coming comedians to have a mic every single day. So before the shows would start, there was always open mic, and it was just we called it the gym. It's a place you'd work out.
Sure.
like work out the material, and so I was like all kinds of name comedians would come through there. And I was living in the bus. It
Right.
didn't last very long. I ended up meeting some people, and I wasn't in the bus very long, but that's where I was.
Right.
So, you know who Akash Singh is?
Yeah.
Okay. So, crazy story. I'd been in the bus for 3 days. 3 days. I meet this dude, Akash. This is 2007. Akash and Luther. They were roommates. They're both from Dallas. Akash is from here. So we became friends. We were talking in the lobby of the comedy club, and they were like, oh, you're from Dallas? I'm from Dallas. And when you meet someone from Dallas in Hollywood, you're instantly friends.
Right, yeah.
So he was like, well, where do you live? And I said, I live in the bus behind the comedy
Right.
club. And Akash was like, are you serious? And
Yeah.
he was like, bro, we got a queen size bed just leaning up against the wall in my dining room. You come crash with us. We got a 2-bedroom apartment. We got another roommate. So I ended up living with Luther and Akash. I
Okay.
think the other guy's name was Peter. He was a producer too.
Okay.
An associate producer. But anyways, they ended up kicking me out after about a month because I depleted their liquor cabinet.
Right, yeah.
And I've stayed in touch with him over the years, and now, of course, Akash is blown up like crazy.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
And I mean, he's all over the place.
Right.
It's pretty cool to
Right.
have. We've got a real old school story. of,
Sure.
we were just little open
Hey,
micers.
dude, I was a homeless guy that drank all your alcohol
Yeah.
and slept on your queen bed, dude.
So funny, dude.
Right.
I came to Los Angeles on a heater dream.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So you
That's
were
pretty cool.
so then what happens after you get kicked out from there?
I got introduced to a Bible study.
Okay.
Yeah. This is where it gets.
All right.
This is where it gets pretty interesting because
Okay.
there's a comedian by the name of Siddiqui Fuller.
Okay.
He's passed on now.
right.
Strange, mysterious death he and his roommate both. It's just
Okay.
a weird thing. But he was the mascot for the Sacramento Kings for a while. No, Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
But he was a comedian, and I had got arrested for a DUI
Okay.
the day after St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
I was driving a friend of mine's truck down the 101, ran out of gas. I was still drunk from the night before, got a DUI. So when I got out of the jail a few days later, I went back to, this is when I was staying with Akash and Luther. I went back over there, and Siddiqui was like, hey, are you open to coming to a Bible study with me? And I was like, well, I mean, at this point, I had nothing. What did I have to lose? I was raised in church. You know,
Right.
Let's go explore. So he introduces me to this Bible study, God's Chosen Men Bible study in Hollywood. And, you know, there was some celebrity people that were there that, you know, ended up being my friends. And then I
Right.
ended up going to the church that they went to, which is a small Pentecostal church in Van Nuys.
Right. I
Yeah.
was thinking you were gonna go, which is the Church of Scientology,
No.
located on
No,
right.
no.
Yeah.
It was tongue talking,
right.
dancing on the pews,
Okay.
waving.
Yeah,
a Head from Korn, the bass player, got baptized at our church.
Okay.
Janie from Warrant.
All right.
Went there several times.
Nice.
CC DeVille, the guitarist from Poison,
Sure.
got baptized in the bathtub at the Bible study.
Okay.
Which ended up being the apartment that I moved into. So the guy that hosted the Bible study
Okay.
ended up having a vacant room in this little townhome.
Right.
And he called me and he's like, hey, God told me that you have to move in. And I was
Right.
like, what? He's like, yeah, you're homeless? Is that, I heard you were like homeless right now. And
Right.
I was
And
like,
how did
"Yeah."
he tell you this? Was it through the
Through the
heating
heater?
bill?
Then it's totally meant to be.
Right.
HVAC messages.
Right.
It was at the time I was sharing, dude. I was house hopping. you
Right,
know?
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
just trying to, but I could not stay sober.
Right.
So someone would let me stay there because they loved me.
Right,
But
dude. But that's
eventually
I'm
I would
just,
just be
I'm
so
just,
drunk.
I'm still going back to you and your brother, and it sounds, it totally sounds like an Adam Sandler movie or something.
Yeah.
where you wake up and you go, huh? And then you go into your brother. I know, dude.
Right
Let's
on.
go.
You were in my
Right.
dream wearing that exact same outfit. I was definitely
It's
not
like a
talking to the
combination of
vents.
Pineapple Express and,
Right, yeah.
and This Is the End.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's hilarious, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I. It's so many people have told me, they're like, dude, you gotta like write this
Right,
short
screenplay,
story, something.
dude. Screenplay,
You know,
yeah.
like, because I've got witnesses for all of it.
It's true. I
it's
swear.
all of it's true.
Right.
It's just weird, mind blowing things.
Right. So you're going to church where CC DeVille got baptized.
He got baptized in the apartment
Okay.
that I ended
So-
up moving into.
Okay. So pick up there.
Yeah. So, the guy that I moved into in that apartment,
Mm-hmm.
he was really good friends with Jay Davis,
Okay.
the comedian who
Okay.
basically put Dane Cook on in the Hollywood scene. And
okay.
he was on Tourgasm. He was the host of the Tourgasm special
Right.
that Dane Cook did, where they just went around in the RV and toured all the cities and,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So he was the host of Laugh Factory's comedy night on Tuesday night, which was Dane Cook's night.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, in 2007, it was the hottest night in comedy in the country.
Oh yeah.
Tuesday night, I mean, Dane was the
I remember
the apex of
yeah.
his career.
Uh-huh.
Lines constantly wrapped around the place.
Right.
So it was cool because my roommate was friends with Jay, and he also promoted the Laugh Factory that night.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I had literally, in a span of a month, went from sleeping in a bus,
Right.
2 months, went from sleeping in a bus to on a mattress at Akash's place, working at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, Universal City for maybe a week until I got fired, to ending up in this Bible study, to waiting tables on Wilshire right beside ETV, living with this dude who promoted at the Laugh Factory, hanging out in the comic lounge of the Laugh Factory, at the same table with Joe Coy and Harlan Williams and Ron White and all these greats.
Yeah.
And I literally was just living in a bus
Right.
not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
here I am at this, I'm just a random dude,
Right.
but at the same table with all of them.
Right.
Watching them banter and play off each other. It was just...
Sure.
Tom Green was one of the coolest people you'll ever meet.
Right.
He's so down to earth, and he asked for my card when we
You're
met. He's
like,
like,
"I don't
you
have
got
one."
a card?
Right.
I'm like, what? You're Tom Green. I mean, John Lovitz, and this was before Joe Coy
Sure.
like really exploded.
Uh huh.
I mean, I was just kind of running in that circle.
Yeah.
You know, Chris D'Elia and I were hanging out lots back in
Right.
the day before, you know, we didn't even have Instagram yet.
Sure.
You know, so it was a really cool time to be a part of. It was when TMZ really first started to explode.
Right.
When Les Deux was popular in downtown Hollywood, Hollywood and Las Palmas is where
Okay.
that club was at. And it was, you know, when Kim Kardashian was just busting out.
Oh,
Paris
right.
Hilton was just coming out on the scene. And Nicole Richie, and everything was product placement on red carpets. And you got all these hot chicks becoming celebrities because they look good with these shoes on red carpets.
Right. Or because they do pornos.
That too. But that was even before that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it was such a neat, interesting, weird time
Uh-huh.
to be a part of Hollywood because we were doing so many interesting things,
Right.
but none of it was documented.
Yeah.
Nobody had
Oh,
smartphones.
yeah.
Nobody had
Yeah, yeah,
smartphones.
yeah.
I was hanging out with Cuba Gooding Jr. in 2004 at Busby Sports Bar in Santa Monica every Sunday night, shooting pool with him.
Yeah.
He loved the freaking polyester butterfly collar suit I showed up in,
Right.
with a fedora, and he
said,
came up
"We're
to me.
playing pool."
He's like, "You got flavor," and we ended up friends. But I got a little Motorola freaking flip phone.
Yeah.
You know, it was a very cool time because we could still do our thing without everybody knowing. Really, and it was just. It fizzled pretty fast because it seemed like the moment the tipping point went from MySpace to Facebook and Instagram kind of followed shortly after, the whole everything in Hollywood changed.
Right.
And I had left just before, like, really that big tipping point.
Well, okay, so but at this whole time, I mean, are you?
I haven't even got to that part.
Are you? Are you even like, you know? Are you your substance abuse level? Where is it during all this? And is it like, yeah?
So at the very beginning of that, like the early comedy club days,
Right.
yeah, I was still very much like, got to get the drink, got to get the vodka, occasional, you know, run away and go find a bag of cocaine occasionally. You
Right.
know, it wasn't until a couple of years later that virtually all of the partying went away because I had literally found myself in the position of being involved on an executive level with these music executives, and it was a totally different realm. It was a totally different realm of being, lots of partying and stuff was going on, but on that type of level and on that part of the world, 99% of the people are sober.
How do you go from comedian and borderline homeless to executive?
Yeah, okay, so whenever I was waiting tables doing the stand-up comedy, I would occasionally go on the road and do more product demo to get more money to kind of fund the next few months in LA.
Okay.
So what I ended up homeless again.
Okay.
In this time I went to live in the Salvation Army in Los Angeles. I was there for one day. I couldn't stand it because you had to make your bed a certain way, so I left.
Okay.
I just left the next day. And a buddy of mine who was part of that God's Chosen Men Bible study, he was a tennis pro. And he started he started a nonprofit several years ago for physically challenged individuals and wounded veterans to rehabilitate through sports.
Right.
So he would partner with the Lakers or different celebrities to do wheelchair basketball camps or wheelchair tennis camps.
Right.
And it blew up. Like, he did stuff at the Magic Castle with Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, and they did all these cool Super Bowl events. Well, he was part of the Bible study. Whenever I left the Salvation Army, I was on the Metro Rail, which is the dark train of LA.
Yeah.
I would, and I didn't know where I was going to go. I had a suitcase beside me, and I had my little BlackBerry Pearl phone.
Right.
That's all I had. And I'm cruising down the freaking train thing. My phone rings, and it's my buddy Brady that has that charity.
Okay.
And he's like, "What are you doing, man? I haven't talked to you in a little while. Everything good? I've been praying for you." And I said, "Well, I'm actually homeless and I'm on a train right now. I have no idea where I'm going."
Right.
He's like, "Oh, well, come to my apartment." That's one crazy thing. Like, I never went I was homeless lots.
Yeah.
But I always had a couch.
Yeah.
I always had a bus.
Dude, you had
there was an angel at every
Yeah, dude. It
at every
seems like
point.
for sure.
So he's like, "Well, come to my house, man. You can crash on my couch, and we'll just, I know you pretty well from the Bible study." He's from Orange, Texas. He's got He's got a pretty country accent and
Right.
just hard. I love him to death. His name's Brady. We're still close friends to this day.
Okay.
He lives in Houston now, and so he let me come crash on his couch. And the more that we got to know each other, he was like, "Well, dude, like the way you are with presenting things, and you want to join my team as on the development for the charity." And
Right.
I was like, "Well, yeah, that would be cool." Well, come to find out, one of the board members of the nonprofit was a music industry executive
Okay.
from Dallas.
Right.
So when I met him, we became really good friends. And then he was just now forming the Recording Artists Guild.
Okay.
At that time, there was not a guild
Ah,
for artists.
okay.
There was Producers Guild, Directors
Right.
Guild, Writers Guild, Screen Actors Guild, but no organization designed to protect artists as people, just as products.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they decided they wanted to team up and create a Recording Artists Guild. So I just happened to meet him at the time where it was just a concept. And he asked me, he was like, hey, do you want to join the team as a development person and help us kind of put this together?
Right.
And that's how it all started. And then I just found myself hanging out in studios and meeting people that were in the music world, and in an office in Beverly Hills with plaques on the wall, meeting with execs and songwriters. And then I learned about learned about the publishing world and the licensing world, and we had like a picture deal with Lionsgate to play songs and films. We did Freelancers with Robert De Niro. We did On Frozen Ground. We did Fire with Fire.
Dude.
Put all the songs in those movies. Like,
Dude,
here's the crazy thing about it
Yeah.
is I never did anything myself
Yeah.
credit worthy or noteworthy in the music industry.
Right.
I just met people,
Right.
and I just whatever I'm involved in,
Yeah.
I go all in.
You sure?
I'm passionate about it,
Right.
or I wouldn't waste time on it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
So I just found myself
But
in
just
these
you've had
positions.
there's some pretty incredible opportunities.
Yeah.
That have just randomly right place, right time kind of thing. So
moral of the story: believe in yourself and take action.
yeah. Right. For
like,
sure.
But I wholeheartedly believe, there was some stuff that happened when I was a kid that were very traumatic, and I think the alcohol then became a thing of sabotage.
Sure. Yeah.
It didn't rear its ugly head very often
Well,
in the latter years.
also speaking of rear, I mean, like the 280 ZX.
I got away clean with a smack against the head with Bud Ice bottles.
Right,
Well, not
yeah.
until there was.
Those are some hefty bottles, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it knocks somebody out.
Yeah, straight knocking out.
So that's crazy. So all this happens, and then how do you wind up back in Dallas, or how do you get clean? Like after, where's the stopping point? I've had enough, and then
Man, I tell you, it's always been a struggle. There's
Okay.
always been times where it pops back up out of nowhere.
Sure.
A lot of therapy, a lot of counseling, a lot of just
your
trying
heater
to,
goes
the heater said so. I have to do it. It's God
right.
wants me to reset. It's my reset button.
Right.
That became the excuse later. Well, hey, I go hard for forever, and then I'm going to drink for a day and a half, and reset,
Right.
and get back on the horse. It's
Right.
stupid. So this is the way I got back to Texas. It was 2012. I was with the Recording Artists Guild, and I was working with an artist, and we wanted to start our own label. So we'd started this record label. I had some great people kind of on the board of advisors that have long histories in the music industry. I'm not even going to go into detail on
Sure.
who I got, but they were big people, and it was
Right.
really freaking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Like, this is what
all of a sudden I'm working.
all
with
of a
this
sudden,
person,
I'm
yeah.
working with the dude that
Yeah.
signed Neil Diamond and Elton John, and
right.
Olivia Newton-John, and has
Yeah.
freaking hit records for decades. I'm like, are you
Right.
kidding me? This is crazy.
Anytime somebody says Olivia Newton-John, I just think of Kelly. Olivia Newton.
You got any Olivia Newton?
I don't know that inside joke.
We used to, yeah, I know. That's what Chad doesn't understand.
I
that
can't
there's
help
like
but laugh
a
because of how
public
he
out
says
here.
it, dude.
Well, no, there was a guy that I used to work at a record store called Bill's Records, and there was a character that came in. We had like these cast of characters that came in, and one of the guys we would call Olivia, and I think he was, touched by the Lord somehow. But he would come in and go, "You got any Olivia Newton-John?" like that, and so Bill from Bill's Records, the proprietor of the store, would actually do that and go, "Olivia," like Newton.
That's how you know you're old school. He just said the proprietor. Of the
Right,
store.
exactly. But so yeah, just random stuff like, and he would, he was just one of the characters at Bill's Records, which was incredible.
How's your asshole?
Hey,
Pucker time.
Hey, brother. Hey, can you ask Bill? How's his asshole? Yeah, I mean,
Flappy J.
dude, there is all kinds of like characters. We had there was what was it, Beach Boy Larry and Andy the Android, dude. We had Pink Floyd Gill, dude.
heck yeah.
there are tons of people.
Andy. I had a couple run-ins with Andy Dick. Oh, my God.
Andy Dick,
Crazy
yeah.
individual.
I hear that guy
Wow.
goes hard.
Oh, yeah. He
Yeah.
doesn't care. He'll walk in
Yeah.
and just grab your drink. How's it going? Yeah.
Right.
Dude, what are you doing?
Right.
I'm trying to make out with everybody. You see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a handful, I hear.
Yeah. So, what was the last question?
Well, so how did you get clean, or where was the cutoff point?
Started the label.
Yeah.
So I had the label. There was a
Right.
project we were working on. It was going to yield. It was potentially going to yield a lot of money.
Right.
It was
And
the
then-
first big thing.
Yeah.
First big thing that we were working on, and so I ended up going to. At this point, I'd been sober for a little over a year. And I ended up going to New York on a one-way trip because the artist that we were working with was performing at a charity event in New York.
Okay.
I was going to go meet with some potential sponsors for an event we were doing on the West Coast with her.
Okay.
She was a predominantly Japan figure, very huge pop icon in Japan.
Okay.
And we were going to do this event and kind of launch her in the U.S. with some other names and, do like a cool launch party, welcoming her to the U.S. And the whole kind of revenue model was based on people in Japan still buy a lot of physical merchandise. So we kind of had this thing about doing it as a DVD and selling the DVD to her fan base to generate profit. And this is whole unique model that we created to do a special event and have people to buy in and buy tickets to the event, but they could also get a percentage of revenue as, helping us create this event. So I went to New York, went to this charity event, ended up not working out how I wanted it to, and I got really upset with my friend that was hosting me, and I went to the bar.
Okay.
I need an Absolute and pineapple.
Right.
Got to put the flames out. And it turned into I don't know how many. And then Freedom Williams from CNC Music Factory
Okay.
found me blacked out on the
Okay,
sidewalk.
first off, you did not tell me that part,
Yeah.
but CNC Music Factory,
were performing
They
at the
did a
charity
song
event, too.
called "Gonna Make You Sweat" that was
Yeah.
huge.
And everybody dance now. Boom, boom.
Yeah, it's on every.
They were
Jock,
massive.
It's on every Jock Jam CD out there. Yeah,
They were performing
But
at the charity
That is
event.
hilarious,
Yeah.
and he's the guy that does. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut, so
To
move your butt. To
Yeah.
the dance floor. Yeah,
So
so
everybody
that
over
dude-
there. Nah, and he's got half a mustache. Now I don't know if he does it on
that's
purpose. I think.
okay. That's
Yeah.
kind of random.
But yeah, he found me on the sidewalk blacked
So
out.
Freedom Williams finds
He-
you on the
he
side.
puts me
That's
over
random.
his shoulder and carries me back into the venue, and that started like a 3.5 day spree in Manhattan. I went there on a one-way ticket with my golf clubs, a 70-pound luggage. I was supposed to be playing golf with some other billionaire people and talking shop. So I end up bar hopping in Manhattan
Right.
with golf clubs and a luggage and
Right.
a briefcase.
I love it.
And a buddy of mine that lived in Manhattan, my people in LA were trying to get me on the phone because they knew once they saw that I wasn't posting any Facebook pictures of the event, they knew I relapsed.
Right.
Because
okay.
I was always documenting
Sure,
stuff.
yeah,
and
yeah.
They're like, something's wrong. And
Right.
they couldn't get a hold of me. So they started calling some people in Manhattan that we knew. And I ended up blacked out on a curb. And my friend found me. He just found me sitting there and sat with me until I came out of the blackout. Got me a ticket back to LA, took me to the hotel that night, and I got a phone call from the police department in the middle of the night. All I had was my phone left, and they found, when I came through on the curb, my golf clubs were gone, my luggage was gone, my briefcase was gone, everything was gone.
Yeah.
And so I get a call from the cops in the middle of the night from one of the Manhattan police precincts, and they found my golf clubs and my luggage.
That's random.
And
dude.
called me and was like, come down here to claim it. Yeah. So I take a cab in the middle of the night to freaking the police station and get my golf clubs and luggage in the middle of Manhattan.
Oh wow.
Get to the airport the next morning. More freaking Bloody Marys to calm the nerves. To
Sure,
do 3.5
of course.
days of vodka drinking.
Uh huh.
I make it to Philly for a layover.
Okay.
4-hour layover in Philly. I black out in the airport in Philly,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I came to in a drunk tank in Compton
Oh, nice. I like it.
with
dude.
slashes in my wrist and bloody gauze.
Oh,
No freaking
my God.
idea what happened. So apparently I blacked out on the airplane, and they had to zip tie me to a wheelchair to get me off the airplane.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And took me to this drunk tank.
Sure.
This was the summer of 2013.
All right.
And all of that stuff that I had worked so hard to try to put together all came crumbling down around me. And everyone was mad at me. And
Right. Even Andy Dick wouldn't make out with me.
No, he wouldn't even touch my butt anymore.
Right.
Dude. He wouldn't even give me a pinch. But that was the first big wake up.
Okay.
Of I have got to go home and try to figure out why do I keep sabotaging my life.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that's what I took a Greyhound home, and that was just 2013, and the crazy crap that's happened since then is just bananas.
Right. Well, we got but dude, I gotta
Yeah,
have
no
you
time.
back.
Yeah,
for
we gotta have, like,
I
fucking
gotta
two
have
more parts.
I gotta have part 2.
The saga of
We
Dirty
will-
Joe.
We will have part 2, and
Cool.
and we'll have you back on, and we'll talk about kind of real quick if you want to hit like a little bit of your solution now.
Yeah, so
you know.
I go to Frisco Group is my home group. I got a sponsor. I'm reworking the steps. You know, I've had some slips over the years.
Sure.
And ended up having to go to prison for a while.
Right.
And now I got a baby. She's 16 months old. and
Okay.
it's just me
Congrats,
by myself. Thank you.
by the way.
My wife is in prison right now. She
Yeah.
killed someone driving drunk while I was incarcerated.
Yeah.
That was another big wake up. So between that and having the baby, it's just
Right.
a totally different realm of
Yeah.
seriousness when it comes to I have really got to stay in solution
Right.
and just stick to the small things that I know work every single day.
Right. Well, let's definitely pick up from 2013 next time you're on.
Cool.
Because, it sounds fascinating.
Yeah, dude.
But I appreciate
crazy.
you coming on, man.
I
and,
appreciate you guys having me. Man.
yeah,
It's been a
absolutely,
blast.
man.
This has been a blast.
And Chadwick, as always, I'm glad we got the sound worked out, kind of,
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah. I was fuming for a while.
Yeah,
dude.
you were, dude.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
You're melting the polyurethane on those.
You know what I mean,
headphone
dude? Yeah, dude. My
Exactly.
ear was so hot, dude. I felt like a heater was speaking to me, dude.
Exactly.
Tell me to burn this place down.
Burn it down now, Chad. Hey, I heard it too. Let's do it. Thanks, guys. It was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
absolutely, man.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. I can't wait to have you back on so we can hear the rest of it. But anything you're plugging, because you do Windows too.
Yeah, so we do residential window replacement.
okay.
They're all energy efficient windows. My dad started it as a hobby in '82. I teamed up with him in 2019.
Show everybody
to
the hat.
Woodruff windows.
There we go.
Yep, our installers are awesome. They're clean, sober, happy people. I
Right.
like to say they don't buy beer at Quick Trip in the middle of the day.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So you can trust who's working on your house. But that's really what we like to do is help homeowners make their
Okay.
homes more comfortable by replacing their windows with good windows.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's our main shtick.
I love it. I love
Awesome,
it.
man.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on again. And then remember, kids, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.
100%.
Activate.